Hello YouTube, this is Terry and welcome back to my channel. Just kind of wanted to feature this plant briefly. It's been sitting on my desk, so it wasn't included in my update that I just did yesterday, but I was looking at it today and it's kind of going out of bloom, and I thought that I would do a quick video on it because some of you have been asking for it. This is Habenaria Medusa. It's one of the most unusual orchids that I've ever seen. Very strongly resembles what I would identify as being a Medusa-like flower. These plants hail from Laos and Vietnam, Sumatra, Java and Borneo. They are produced from a terrestrial corm that is very small, and when the plant emerges from the corm, it does produce rosettes of leaves. From the center of the rosettes, as you can kind of see down here, is where the inflorescence emerges slowly, producing the flower buds. Now this inflorescence came up first. As you can see, these flowers are really spent. They did not open in any sort of order. It was just random. As you can see, the orchids near the top are mostly almost all open, and there are some still at the bottom which are still closed. So I'm not sure if they are going to open fully or not. There is no detectable fragrance to this flower, but the spider-like appearance of the flowers are definitely worth it. Very unusual. You can also see the spur at the back of the plant. Let's see if I can focus a little bit better on that. With its little green at the end, at the bottom of the spur. And again, there is the flower. As far as cultural wise, a lot of research is conflicting on how to induce them into bloom after they have undergone a winter rest. As I said, these are corms. They do prefer a winter rest in which little to no water is given to these plants. And then in the spring, once you see the new foliage arise from either the top of the soil, or if you have unpotted the corn and wrapped it in some soil and let it stay dormant without really watering it all winter, once you see the new growths emerging from the top of the corn, that's when you pot it up and begin to water it. From everything that I've read, this plant also likes low light. When I got the plant, I got this in the spring, and it was maybe about an inch high. I do not think it just had 2 growths on it, which later develops inflorescence. So I do believe that this is a new growth, separate from what it was when I got the plant. Contrary to what I've read, as I was beginning to say, I have had this plant in a highlight situation with relatively no shade, and it bloomed perfectly. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it this winter, whether I'm going to leave it in the media. I just put this sphagnum on top to give it a little more moisture, because once the new growth starts to emerge, that is when you really begin to water it. It's really just potted up in some fine bark and a little bit of perlite, and it is in this very small pot. I'm not going to try to dig down there to show it to you, but I will most likely remove this sphagnum moss. And I'm not really sure if any of you have any experience with growing this. Why don't you list some of your care tips in the comment section below to give me some guidance, because I really don't know what I'm going to do with this plant. But I hope that I am successful with overwintering it and then getting it to bloom again next year, because it is very unusual plant, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. And that's about it on this plant. Again, if you have any tips to help me with this plant, please put them in the comment section. And as always, thank you for watching and happy growing. Enjoy your orchids. Bye.